Stay away, stay away, stay away. Stay away, stay away, stay away. Demetrius Andrade tells Canelo, baby, you want baby, I know that. He tells him to stay away from David Benavidez. Now I'm going to tell you what's special about that in this video. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let's go. In a brand new interview with Fight Hub, Demetrius Andrade spills the beans. He says, I don't think Canelo is beating David Benavidez. He says, I don't blame him not to fight David. Canelo, stay away from David Benavidez. Don't do it. Please don't do it. He says, I'm taller and longer than Canelo. I don't know if Canelo can beat Benavidez. That's a big boy. You've got to have the right skill set, movement, IQ, sharpness to beat David Benavidez. Unless David fights the next biggest man at 175, it's going to be a different story. But at 168, that's how you have to beat him. Canelo is smaller than me, and I was able to push David around for a few rounds and do whatever I have to do. But that weight and his length, and he knows how to throw punches and bunches, it's going to be a hard task for Canelo. David is not someone that is going to let up on you either. Canelo Alvarez is not beating David Benavidez. End quote. Oh, the humanity. It's so funny. At first, I think people thought I was joking or being facetious when I said I was the best in the business, and it's not even close, but I wasn't, and I meant every word. Look at what Boxing Ego continues to say and put out. Again, time after time, rear its ugly head into the sport. And that's just the way it is, man. Andrade is telling you that Benavidez is a challenge. Why is this important? Because Demetrius Andrade was a professional fighter who was unbeaten, and he lost to the same person in question. So although he hasn't fought against Canelo, nor have they sparred to my knowledge, he does have experience with one of the people, and he knows what he's done with guys in sparring and pro fights and how he's looked versus when he got in there with David Benavidez. So he does have a piece of the puzzle and a history there with fighting Benavidez. And he said, I did my thing for a couple rounds, but David Benavidez is just big, he's too strong, too long, pause, and ultimately he won't stop. He's relentless. This is what Canelo also, him and his team, understand. You guys can make whatever excuse you want, but I told you this is the biggest fight in boxing, in my opinion, right now, to otherwise proven, especially if Benavidez beats Morrell, which is definitely a tall order because I rate Morrell. But all in all, it's a great fight, and Benavidez will just further solidify himself if he's able to come through the Morrell fight. It's going to look bad for Canelo Alvarez because at this point of his career, who do you fight? People want to see you in good fights, big fights. You're picking Berlanga. Nobody really requested that fight. You're picking Jaime Munguia. I've already talked about it. Clearly, that win doesn't age well because within one or two fights from the Canelo fight, Munguia gets knocked out in Mexico by a guy with 4 knockouts in like 27 fights who nobody had ever even heard of. So with a performance that bad, that close to Canelo fighting him, something Canelo didn't even do. Canelo knocked Munguia down once, but he never knocked him out, right? And then he fights this guy in Mexico and gets upset by the Frenchman. So when you factor all this stuff in, that performance that Munguia had, it makes you question how good was he at 168? To me, Munguia's best performance was against Saddam Ali way back when he was at 154, and I think he might have been brought in at late notice. Has he really elevated and progressed? I don't really know. Like the Derevyanchenko fight, that might be some people's favorite fight from Munguia, but every time he fought someone remotely good, he either lost like Canelo or he had a tough fight. Like when he had Dennis Hogan, a lot of people said that Dennis Hogan really won. Jamal Charlo later fought Dennis Hogan and destroyed him easy work and had him doing cartwheels on the ground. So levels. Benavidez, especially if he gets past Morrell, he's the big dog. And I love what he's done and what he continues to do. He's been calling out for the Canelo fight for years, hasn't really been able to get it. And then he continued on with his career trying to make the best available. That's what you do. The pressure, as long as he's winning, is still going to be for Canelo to fight Benavidez. And now you got people like Andrade who's telling you that this is going to be a difficult fight. And I can see Canelo not fighting Benavidez, or why he should stay away, as Andrade says, because you got to fight David Benavidez the right way, which is what I've been telling you guys from the beginning. Listen, I don't count Canelo out saying he doesn't have a chance. He got 50, 60 fights, been fighting his whole life, never been knocked out or knocked down. It'd be very interesting, and it would be a dynamic fight, good clash of styles. Neither guy has super fast footwork to me. Both guys have power. Both guys can thread the needle and sink shots and throw punches in bunches. I believe Benavidez has showed better late fight stamina than Canelo, but Benavidez can't just go in there and get clocked, because he was losing to Caleb Plant in the first 6 rounds to me. So you don't want to let Canelo, someone experienced like that, get off on you early, because you might not make it to the later rounds. So I still think it's a great fight. Pressure's on Canelo Alvarez. You got to do something, baby. Hey, Canelo, make it hot. You got to fight this man, David Benavidez, man. Fans keep talking about Canelo Crawford. I don't understand why you guys want to see that, outside of the fact that they both have a name. People know who Crawford is. They know who Canelo is. I mean, so stupid. The same people ask him if Inoue should move up 2 weight classes, fight Gervonta Davis. They say no. So why can't Inoue move up and fight Gervonta Davis if we're just playing musical chairs and disregarding weight classes and treating this like a goddamn video game? It doesn't make sense. But per usual, your boy Ego makes all the sense in the world in this boxing game. I'm very consistent. I don't really need to see Crawford versus Canelo. That's just something that's barely watchable to me because I have a channel. I think there's ready-made fights that make more sense. If for some reason Crawford cleared out 154 or something like that, then maybe we could consider it. But you have one fight, went the distance. You didn't look like your knockout streak ended. I don't really need to see that. Benavidez versus Canelo, baby. That, however, that's a fight. Count me in. Call me when that fight happens. And Andrade, who, of course, as I mentioned, fought Benavidez, he's telling you that that's a fight that Canelo should stay away. And Canelo's a warm-blooded individual. He don't like when people, talk trash. He didn't fight Andrade. Let's see if he's the challenge. Like, people are now going to start doubting you again, saying, hey, you don't want smoke, especially if he beat Morrell. They're going to be back to those conversations. You don't want to fight Benavidez. You don't want to fight Benavidez. It's up to Canelo to shut those people up. Let's see what he do coming with his gangster man.